This is bad. This is really, 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 really bad. Anyways, I'm so sorry for not being on these past 4 months. Terrible. I'm such a terrible YouTuber. But they're all amazing. You guys are so sweet, and I really, really, really appreciate you guys. But with that, I'm not gonna leave you with just this big fat apology and a thank you. I come bearing gifts. So I know the month of October just passed, and I'm behind the times, obviously, because I haven't been, here. I have a story for you. Yes, I have a story for you. And not only that, I have a treat for you. So stick around till the end. This is a legend that I created not that long ago. So here it is. Everyone knows of the legend of the Fata Morgana. Everyone fears the legend of the Fata Morgana. Anyone who encounters her never comes back. Her legend had spread like a wildfire during the early years after the scorching. But no one knows how that story actually came to be. Everyone just knows the ghost story. However, I know. And it started with Mirage. Former counselor and general in the scorching, she had decided that she had seen enough bloodshed for her lifetime. And after the scorching was finished, no one suspected that there would be a bounty placed on every animus in all the 7 kingdoms. But there was. And her, being the animus of her kingdom, no longer had the ability to enjoy the peace that she wanted for so many years. Well, because of the new development, and because of the new territorial disputes after the scorching, she had been summoned by her queen to defend her land. Mirage was not willing to take that obligation. Well, the queen decided that she would threaten Mirage's family to get her to comply. And Mirage, instead of facing the situation, decides to run away. Her family is killed, and she enchants a shell to turn herself into a young icewing that she names Cordelia. She flies as fast as she can to the sea, and there she enters a few of the villages that are surrounding the palace. So a lot of nobles live there. Everyone kind of knows each other, what family you come from. People were asking what her name was and where she came from and who's her family, and she told them, well, I have no family. And she wasn't lying. She said that she came from the surface, and she wasn't lying. She said that her name was Cordelia. Most of the families didn't take kindly to her, but one family had pity and decided to take her on. A few months later, they started to realize that she was incredibly smart. They decided to send her off to the Royal Academy along with their own children. As all this was going on, something interesting was happening in the royal courts. The queen of the Sea Wings at the time had been murdered by the Sea Wing counselor. However, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? After hearing many stories and the recent news of the Sky Kingdom, she became rather paranoid, and she enchanted a small object to alarm her whenever there was an animus nearby. Funny enough, every time the Royal Academy had their students come back in, that little item would start to go off. And a few months later, the queen decided that she would take the top students of her academy and put them to work. So they worked around in the palace as apprentices, and she would have meetings with them. Every time she would have those meetings, it was weird because her little alarm would go off. She decided to have some investigations done. She found out that Cordelia had probably the most odd story out of the students there. So the queen ended up summoning Cordelia, hoping to get to know this Sea-Wing a little bit more. The little alarm system was going off again. The queen pretty much told her guards, seize her. Cordelia runs, obviously. She's trying to figure out what to do. She can't really outrun the guards because they're a lot larger than she is, so she goes to what she knows. She starts to make illusions, hoping to distract them. And as the chase progresses, her illusions become even more grandiose, to the point where she's starting to make islands look like they're coming out of the water. But the weird thing is that her illusions were casting shadows. She could almost touch them. But as soon as she was close enough, they would vanish. Still unable to shake the guards, so she musters up as much strength as possible to make one last move. She makes a perfect mirror in the sky to reflect everything beneath them, and she dashed for the nearest mountain. As soon as she made contact with the mirror mountain, her necklace and her ring fell off, and she turned into Mirage and tumbled onto the mirror world. The guards were amazed to see that she was being pulled into the mirror world rather than falling out of it. The guards tried to follow in after her, but were blocked by this invisible force, like a glass that was separating the two worlds. Cordelia noticed, and she flew up for her, down for them, started to bang on this invisible force field, but she was unsuccessful in getting out. And like all mirages, there comes a point where they fade away. The edges of it ripple back into the blue sky that was already there that morning. In a few minutes, the mirror world was gone, and Cordelia along with it. And things were fine until the villagers of the north started seeing multiple sightings of Cordelia walking on top of the water, calling the sea wings by name. Some of the sea wings actually went to her, and anyone who did never came back. And this fear creeped into the hearts of every sea wing in the kingdom. Everyone abandoned the villages of the north, and Cordelia was then later named the Fata Morgana, because every time she would walk on top of the water, the sea stacks and the islands surrounding her would levitate. So that's how this ghost story began. I was really happy with it. Let me know what you guys think. Now, for the treat. So I said I did have a treat, and I do. I'm going to be giving away these 5 characters, and if you would like one of these characters, give a thumbs up to this video, share the video with a friend of yours, and put your name in the comment. It's going to be a first come, first serve, so best of luck, and thank you so much for being patient with me. Have a lovely day, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye!